How are we doing on the mic? Is this okay? Does this work for everybody? Good evening to everybody that is here. So awesome to see all the support and the love from all the parents that are here tonight. Are you guys having a great time? Yeah! Having a good time. I'd have to say, everybody looks fantastic. It's great. I know that I have to thank my mom personally. She actually made this from scratch in the time. Yes. So, I know. Isn't that amazing? I know, the woman is talented. It blows my mind. It feels really good to get dressed up sometimes. Sometimes I feel like I spend more time in spandex than any other type of clothing. There's just something about spandex that make you feel like a stud. They just need to make capes part of a viable triathlon uniform so we could look like a bunch of sopping wet, salty superheroes. This is my own personal opinion. So let me introduce myself and get to the heart of why I'm standing here in front of you. My name is Stehula, and last year I was fortunate enough to represent Cal Poly at the Collegiate National Triathlon Championships. It's a mouthful. Do you have any idea how much a race like that can blow your mind? I got to wear the green and gold, the Cal Poly logo on my chest in a national championship race. It was amazing. I was also fortunate enough to have the support from my family, my teammates, my own training, and the perfect day to give me the opportunity to come across that line in first place. Yes, I came back from that crazy city of Lubbock, Texas, and the cold wind and the flooded roads and just, and the hail as the collegiate national champion. So that was an amazing experience. So let me read to you the predictions before the start of the race. So they have all these guys that go around and they put bets on who they think is going to win this race. These articles came out 10 days before the horn sounded off in Texas. The riders wrote paragraphs, entire paragraphs on my competitors. They listed every reason why everybody else could win on April 20th. They devoted a single sentence to me. And it says this, it says, Stehula did not appear in the results at Lubbock last year, but won a Southwest collegial race somewhere in Arroyo Grande in a pretty swift time last month, and maybe has the chops to medal on the podium. Oh, it burned inside of me like fire. I was so fired up. Apparently I didn't appear on the results from last year. Sorry, dude, you forgot to look at the very bottom of the results. We'll get to that later. Like many stories of success, this one begins with failure. Horrible, terrible, gut-wrenching failure. In 2009, I went to Texas, where the race was as well, with huge, giant aspirations. I was there to mix it up with the best and try and win that damn thing. I was in decent shape and felt like my experience racing as a pro for 6 years would help carry me through. Oh, what serious, serious ignorance. So, for most of you, you probably don't know this. In 2009, I got hit with 3 penalties during the race. All right, I was hoping to do well, and I got 2 drafting penalties and a passing on the incorrect side, because the rules racing at that race and the rules that I was normally used to racing to weren't the same. So I got disqualified. So I went from 6th place, which I was hugely, in my own personal opinion, was very disappointed with my own race there, and then take that and then disqualified. Not only did I feel personally I'd let myself down, but I'd let the entire team down. We wanted to do really well, and that 6th place point could have been huge, and then I was just gone, wiped off. So 2010 rolls around. And this was in my brain. This was there. I was ready and fired up. Every single day during every single workout, I was just thinking about this experience and how badly I wanted to go back and win it. And it was hailing. It was downpouring. For the athletes that were there, it rained for 5 straight days before the start of this silly race. Everyone was locked inside like animals in their hotel rooms. Just Lubbock was flooding. They thought that they would have to change the course, which they did. They modified the course. And they thought there were certain sections on the bike that we would have to get off and walk because there was rivers just going across the road. It's like, yeah, you could just dismount and walk across. So, morning of the race, we're all there. It's freezing, super cold, and they make the swim a little bit shorter, and I'm super disappointed because some of my biggest competitors weren't very good swimmers. It's like, oh, another kick in the pants. Ah, oh, jeez. So I'm like, all right, fine, suck it up, deal with it. And so I get through the swim, come out of the water in about 6th or 7th place, and then just start taking off running. And I pass everybody running into transition and then out transition, so I'm first on the bike. And I've never had this experience in my life. So since I was 19, I've been racing as a professional athlete and racing against the best guys in the world, everybody that is anybody in the sport, and they destroy me. So this is the first time I've ever got to lead a race. So I'm out there on the bike just hammering away, and there's these crazy crosswinds, and my helmet's getting ripped over, and I can't even see out of this side, and like just getting blown over, and I think there were 60-mile-an-hour gusts there. And then at about mile 10, my biggest competitor, the guy that was supposed to win the race, his name is Cedric from Colorado, Fwing, goes right on by, and it's just like, oh, all right, fine, suck it up and deal with it. So I keep pedaling, and we go back and forth, and we battle, and he looks at me, and he just takes off. And then he takes off farther, and then he's getting farther and farther away. And then another person passes me, and it's like, right now I'm dealing with my own demons as a racer. I'm dealing with, I've just lost this race. It's riding away from me as we speak. I can't make this up. So I dig deep, I keep going, but in the back of my mind, I can't make up this time. I go into transition, I pass the guy that originally passed me, but Cedric still has 40 seconds on me. He has 40 seconds on me going into transition. And through an act of God or experience or something, he decides to have this incredibly slow second transition and give 20 seconds back to me. He just lobs this Hail Mary pass at me. I don't know why. So I take off, and Dave is screaming at me. I remember out of transition, he's only 20 seconds in front of you, and I'm just take off like a bat out of hell, because I'm so emotional, and I'm losing this race, and there's some dude who's taking it away from me, and like the guys behind me are super fast, and I'm freaking out, man. And so I take off running. And within the first half mile, all of a sudden, I can see him again. He's there. And as we run around this lake, there's jetties that you're jumping in and out on the road, and he'd disappear, and all of a sudden he'd be closer, and he'd disappear again, and he'd be closer, and like, oh my God, I'm catching him again. And then I see him start to look over his shoulder. So then I start hiding myself, like I jump over to the side of the road, like there's a wall right there, and then there's a big truck that shouldn't have been there, and so I'm running behind the truck, and like, okay, don't let him see me, don't let him see me. And my first mile, I think, was about a 4:50, 4:55 mile. Way too fast, all right? You don't want to do that. That's not a great idea. But I catch him, and I get going by him, and the adrenaline just starts to sink in, and it's just, I'm looking at him, and his shoulders are up, and I'm like, oh, I got him. The second you see your competitors start to tense up, they look over their shoulder, game over. And so I just go, and I start eating up the distance, and all I'm thinking is just go, focus on your training, focus on all the work that you've done, focus on your teammates. And I turn around and come back, and I see all the Cal Poly, we have to do an out and back, so the first half of the race, I see all the Cal Poly triathletes that are there, and they're just screaming their heads off. They are screaming, and it was the most amazing experience. I could not believe it. And so I got to turn around, run through these crazy puddles. There's mud going everywhere, and like, it was nuts. And so I keep going, turn around, I got to go back out, and now this part of the race, all I'm doing is focusing on just trying to stay relaxed. I think I've got this thing. I just got to keep going and eat up the distance, and hopefully my body will let me get to the finish line. Then with about a mile to go, I keep looking over my shoulder, and I build a lead of about 25, 30 seconds, and I've got this. And with 400 meters to go, oh my God, I think I've got this. And 200 meters to go, I'm going to win this stupid race. You've got to be kidding me. And I start freaking out, and that's when I see Dave, and Dave is like, just... And I'm like, I know. So I'm running, and there's a finish line, and it's not coming fast enough. And like, I was so shocked and freaked out and so emotional, everything was going through my head, that I come across the finish line, and there's this big, like, Collegiate National Champion finish banner that you get to raise above your head. Well, I raise it above my head, but I also take my head and put it down because I'm freaked out, and ruin every finish line picture. So I got great finish line pictures of me with my head down, just like, And then afterwards, I just sat on the ground and I'm like, I can't handle this. And I just went into the med tent and just hung out there. While everybody else is like, where'd Chris go? And I'm like, I'm hiding. And so that was my experience at Nationals. It was fantastic. It was amazing. It was everything. This team has given me so much. I couldn't possibly begin to express how thankful I am. Yeah. Like many stories of success. Wait, excuse me. Wait, we gotta go. Wait, next page. There we go. So, now to my reason for being up here. Why I get to talk in front of you. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret of success. Why I'm up here. This is the meat and potatoes of this whole thing. This is my thesis, my summary paragraph, and my conclusion all rolled into one. None of this would be possible without the unwavering love and unconditional support of those two people right there. That would be my mom and my dad. Yes, I invited my parents here tonight so I could publicly thank them in front of all of you. Now, to all the parents sitting here, you are the reason for our success. You have given us the ability to do amazing things. None of this would be possible without your love and support and an occasional kick in the rear end. God knows I needed it. Yeah, I really did. That woman, very mean, that one.
That's why you're so tough.
Yeah, running away from you. Parents, tonight it is all about you. We did this whole thing for you. You even get an entire weekend where the Tri-Team runs around like idiots to show you a good time. By the way, Chains of Love was awesome this morning. Gilroy. So now is the time where all of the Cal Poly triathletes here get to personally, I'd like to personally thank them, all the parents in this room. Give it up for all the parents. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. All you parents have sacrificed so much to give every single athlete on the Cal Poly Tri-Team the opportunity to do something great. By great, I mean run around like a bunch of silly superheroes, but that's for you guys to figure out. But seriously, Cal Poly Triathlon is more than just that. It's our extended family. It's our home away from home. Cal Poly Triathlon is our form of expression. Triathlon is about accomplishment, the ability to do something that so few people would even consider doing. Triathletes are such strange creatures. I know, sometimes it blows my mind the torture that I put myself through. The workouts, the sacrifices, the sore muscles, watt meters, GPS watches, speed, and LSD, referring to the types of workouts, not the drugs. TT bikes, travel, race fees, lactic threshold tests, tempo runs, wetsuits, gels, goos, and the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life, watching somebody put chocolate hammer gel on vanilla ice cream. It was, yes, we are very strange creatures indeed. I saw it happen. I will wrap this all up by saying that your support as parents cannot be measured. Unless you want to donate to the Tri-Team and get our team to Nationals. That could be measured really well. We have our silent auction, of course, which Mr. Weeks has talked about, which is raising money for the Tri-Team. Please help send the 2011 Cal Poly Tri-Team to Nationals. Support the Tri-Team. And thank you for your time. And one last thing. Mom, Dad, I love you. Thank you for giving me my dreams and then encouraging me to surpass them. I'm truly honored to be your son. Thank you.
How's that?